So you're finally ready to buy a home in San Francisco, but you've got a lot more questions. You think there's a lot more information out there that you need to learn before you make that decision, before you know where and what to buy. Well, that is exactly why I made this channel. In this video today, we're going to talk about one of the most important things that you should learn and one of the important things you should know, and that is the neighborhood. Now, there is over 100 neighborhoods in San Francisco. So today I'm just doing a general overview and kind of talking about some of the areas. So to give you kind of an overview and just kind of a general guideline to kind of decide, okay, I want to kind of check this area, or I want to check that area, or I'm going to avoid this area over here. So I do a lot more in-depth neighborhood review videos. I've already got a lot of them on this channel. I'm going to be making a lot more. This video is going to be more of kind of an anchor video to kind of show you kind of everything that the city has to offer. Now, before we get into Google Maps and jump right in and kind of walk you through the entire city, I kind of want to walk you through the little bit of a conversation I have with my clients that are new to the city and new to all the neighborhoods, folks that only know certain neighborhoods, and the conversation I have with them, because maybe 7 out of 10 of my first-time homebuyer clients have lived in San Francisco, but they've been renting for many years. They may have already lived here for the last 3 years or the last 5 years, or maybe they were born and raised in the Bay Area and they live in a certain neighborhood in San Francisco. So they know that neighborhood very well. They love that neighborhood, but they haven't really went out and checked out other neighborhoods. And even if you are going to end up in that neighborhood, it is my job to really acclimate you to everything, to all the neighborhoods, because I want you to be able to calibrate and confidently know that that is the neighborhood that you're going to be in. So for example, if you live in the Mission, you love the Mission, that is great, but I still want to have you have a sense and some information on all the other neighborhoods too, because you never know, you may end up falling in love with another neighborhood, or this may just kind of calibrate or solidify your confidence and make you feel, that much more confident that that is the neighborhood that you're going to jump into and that's the neighborhood that you're going to buy. So that's pretty much it. I'm ready to go if you are, and let's jump in it. Okay, let's start north and then we'll work our way down. So first thing we're going to do is get up into the northern neighborhoods. We'll start up here with the Golden Gate Bridge. So northern neighborhoods, right when you get off the Golden Gate Bridge, everybody knows the Marina District here. Don't really need to talk too much about that. If you don't know much about it, it's a very sunny neighborhood. It's a nice neighborhood. It's very walkable. There's a lot going on. Marina Boulevard, there's a ton of green space, and it's very rentable. Now, you're not going to find a 2-bedroom condo in great condition that's going to be $2,000 a month. You're really going to pay for this area if you want to live here, but this is a really, really hot spot and definitely something worth checking out. Just south of 101 here, just south of Lombard Street, is Cow Hollow, one of my absolute favorite neighborhoods. Perry's is like my favorite restaurant in the city, and it's right down here. So you also have that. Let me zoom in so you can probably see it pop up. There you go. So here's Cow Hollow. And then as you go down, you get into Pacific Heights. Now, this is where I lived for many, many years before we moved down south because we wanted to buy a single family home with a yard and all that. Wanted to get out of the condo lifestyle, but Pacific Heights is one of the most expensive zip codes in San Francisco. It just feels like a very quiet, chill neighborhood. The best architecture that you're gonna find in the entire state, in the entire West Coast. There's just a ton of great architecture in Pacific Heights. We'll take a quick dip over to the west because we're not gonna spend too much time over here. Presidio Heights, Lake Street, and Seacliff, very high-end neighborhoods, very beautiful neighborhoods. There's not a lot of homes there, and they are really expensive. You're gonna see a lot of $5, $10, $15 million homes in these neighborhoods. So let's continue on here where we left off. So below, south of Pac Heights is Lower Pac Heights and Japantown, some other great neighborhoods. We can talk a little bit more about those later on, but I wanna kind of go over the bigger neighborhoods before we kind of dive into the smaller neighborhoods. So on the other side of Van Ness, on the other side of the 101 here, we have Russian Hill and North Beach. And then over here is, Fisherman's Wharf and, all the touristy areas. But these are some fascinating neighborhoods, very beautiful. Russian Hill is one of my absolute favorite neighborhoods. And I made a 10-minute long review of that neighborhood that you should check out. It's on this channel. Absolutely love that neighborhood. North Beach is really fun too. So Russian Hill's a little bit more neighborhoody. It's got a little bit more of a neighborhood vibe. There's not really craziness going on like maybe in North Beach. It's very hilly. Very beautiful hilly neighborhood. But when you get over to North Beach, it may not be as hilly, but there's just a lot more going on. Here's Cobb's Comedy Club. There's some great seafood restaurants down here that I love. And great Italian restaurants. A lot of touristy, like tourist traps too, but you know what? There's good food down there. Betty Lou's is like my absolute favorite. It's right in here. I can see it, but it's one of my absolute favorite seafood restaurants. We couldn't get in there one day, so we walked into one of these little touristy restaurants over here, and it was actually pretty good. So North Beach, Russian Hill, a lot going on over here in North Beach. If you don't really want to be a part of that vibe, that scene, This part of North Beach up here is very quiet, very secluded, very chill, and almost all of Russian Hill is. So I mean, you do have Lombard Street here, the Crooked Road, which is a kind of a touristy thing, but ultimately, like, Russian Hill's pretty quiet, pretty chill. When you go south of Broadway, now you're in Nob Hill. And Nob Hill's similar to Russian Hill. It's not as expensive. There's definitely some neighborhoods that are less, or some areas in Nob Hill that are less desirable. The farther south you go, closer you get to the Tenderloin, it gets a little bit more sketch sometimes. So the farther north you are in Nob Hill, the better. Now we're going to take you on a little spin through the central neighborhoods here. Oh, and you know what, before that, I wanted to talk about, so right here, Polk Street is, so they call it Polk Gulch, or the Polk Gulch corridor. Polk Street right here is the main corridor, and there's just a lot going on right there. So if you live in Nob Hill or Russian Hill, especially on the west side, or if you're in Pack Heights, Cow Hollow, the marina, right here, just the 1 block east of Van Ness is Franklin Street. And there's just a ton of stuff to do there. And it's just a really great area. The reason I wanted to bring that up really quick is the Fillmore District too. There is just a lot going on Fillmore Street right here. So this is a great, another little local. Polk Street and Fillmore Street, I love both of them a lot because they're very local. You don't see a lot of tourists there. You don't even really see a lot of people from the Bay Area there. It's pretty much just like, I don't want to call it a hidden gem or a secret of San Francisco because they're not. You just don't see out-of-towners there. It's a very local scene, but it's just got so much going on. So south of Fillmore, you have Alamo Square, you have Lower Haight, Haight-Ashbury, DuBose Triangle, Cole Valley, Nopa, north of Panhandle. All these central neighborhoods are extremely desirable. Mission Dolores, right before you get into the Mission District. This is a very, very desirable neighborhood. You're not too close to the freeways. Transportation's not super easy here, but that's kind of what the folks that are in here want. These aren't super commuters. These aren't people that are work first, play second. It's a very cool, chill vibe here. It's, you know, the people that live here love San Francisco. There's a ton of great old architecture here. There's a lot of old Victorians and Edwardians that are still here. Just absolutely gorgeous areas. And if you don't know about these neighborhoods in here, you definitely want to take a stroll through. And I don't want to go too in depth in these neighborhoods right now. I just want to kind of give you a quick snapshot of them and kind of keep going around. Okay, let's look over here south of the Presidio, south of Seacliff. You know, we kind of touched on those really quick. And south of there is the Richmond. So here's central Richmond, and then here's the outer Richmond. And if you don't know much about fog and weather, check my other video where I had talk about the fog layers, and you'll know that over here is really foggy. And then this is pretty foggy over here too, but it gets really, really fogged in on the far west side over here. Outer Richmond is like its own city. People either love it or they hate it. And the Richmond, kind of the same. It definitely has its own culture. You definitely feel like you're in your own city out here. It feels very tucked away. You're tucked in right between 2 parks. There's no real freeways around, and you are really tucked in, and the outer Richmond is even more so. And south of the Golden Gate Bridge are the Sunset neighborhoods. You got Inner Sunset, Outer Sunset, Parkside, and then down here you got the Lakeshore neighborhoods, West Portal. These are all really great family neighborhoods. If you don't mind the fog, they're very fogged in. So these are also love-hate neighborhoods. So people either just absolutely will not shop in these areas looking for homes, or this is where they gotta be. So just east of the Sunset is Twin Peaks, and you have all of the elevated neighborhoods over here. So the Twin Peaks neighborhoods, they usually classify Twin Peaks as Clarendon Heights, Twin Peaks, and Forest Knolls, and Midtown Terrace. So all these neighborhoods here are all the elevated neighborhoods. It feels like you are living out in Contra Costa County or Marin County, except you're only 10 or 15 minute drive away from downtown. So they are expensive. There are some condos up there, but for the most part, it's single family homes. See a lot of Eichlers up here, or Eichler inspired homes too, that really take advantage of the views. I've made a Twin Peaks video, and I've also made a Diamond Heights video. Diamond Heights is one of my favorite neighborhoods. And so if you want to learn more about those neighborhoods, definitely check out those videos. All the neighborhoods over here that are on the west side, you have ocean views, and then everything over here on the east side, these neighborhoods are gonna be a little bit sunnier, and you're gonna have more East Bay views. And we're talking about the areas like Asbury Heights, Clarendon Heights, Corona Heights, all the way down to Diamond Heights. So as you descend from the Twin Peaks elevation here, the neighborhoods start to get a lot sunnier. I already talked about that in another video, so I won't spend too much time on that. But as you go down into Noe Valley and into the Mission, it starts to get really sunny, same with the Castro. So all these flat neighborhoods are very, very sunny before you start to get a little bit more elevation here, just when you get to the one between the 101 and the 280 at Potrero Hill, and that's where it gets a little bit foggier. And then when you get out here to Dogpatch and north of Dogpatch in Mission Bay, it gets extremely sunny again. And south of that is Bayview and the Shipyard and Candlestick. And if you are looking for the best deals in the city, the most up and coming neighborhoods, this is where you want to look. There is some really great deals out here. You can even get out here into Hunters Point. I think there's still like 3-bed, 3-bath condos for under $1 million. As you go east of the 101 from Bayview, you get into Visitation Valley, Portola, and Excelsior, Crocker, Amazon. The neighborhoods down here that are south of the 280 and east of the 101, there's a lot of good deals down here too. There's a lot more up and coming neighborhoods, but a lot of neighborhoods down here that have already blown up that are doing really well. These are great neighborhoods. If you've come over here and looked around in Bayview and you just don't like what you see, but you don't really have the budget for a more central neighborhood, I definitely recommend you look down here. So we already talked about the Mission up here, but south of the Mission in Noe Valley, there are some great neighborhoods. I want to talk about Bernal Heights and Glen Park and Sunnyside. Sunnyside has really blown up over the last 3 or 4 years. Really hot neighborhood. Real estate has really went up there. And same with Bernal Heights here and Glen Park. So Glen Park's got a BART station here. So it's really well known for being like a commuter's neighborhood. And same with Bernal. Bernal's a really small, cute neighborhood. Cortland Avenue here has got a lot going on. Very tiny, small homes. Generally, there's a lot more small homes, small streets. It's just really tight. It's one of the original neighborhoods. So you still see a lot of the old Victorians and Edwardians here. Same with Glen Park, which is butted right up against Diamond Heights and Noe Valley. These are the type of neighborhoods where the people that live here are tucked in and they are not going anywhere. They love these neighborhoods and then they just don't want to leave. All right, so that's pretty much it for this video. I'm sorry if I left out your neighborhood. Like I said, there's over 100 neighborhoods in San Francisco, and I only probably talked about, I don't know, 30. That's kind of a good overview of the city. Check out my Fog and Sunny neighborhood if you want a little bit more information about that. And also leave a comment below if you want me to do any other special videos or anything else to do with San Francisco or the entire Bay Area for that matter. I'd be happy to do that. Or just give me a call or give me an email or a text. All my contact information is below in the comments. You can call, text, email me. There's also a link to my Calendly so you can set up a one-on-one Zoom consultation with me. So I'm here for you. I'd love to work with you. I'd love to hear about your wants, your real estate needs, and see how I can help. Me and my team help folks just like you every single day buy and sell homes in San Francisco and the Bay Area. We don't care if you need to do this in 12 days or 12 months. We're here from you. We'd love to set up a game plan with you. We'd love to connect with you and learn about all of your wants and needs. And we'd love to work for you. Okay, that's pretty much all I got. Thank you so much for watching, and give me a follow if you want to see more content like this, and I will see you around the Bay.